What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. If you tuned into the last video, I appreciate that. Thank you for the support and love. Get a cold start for you guys. Well, yeah, I just gotta run a few errands today, so I'm probably just gonna talk and ride. That's probably what all today is gonna consist of. We're definitely gonna go over my riding experience and whatnot, where I started, my journey basically, because to say the least, it's been very interesting. You know, it's all been very brand new to me. Some of you may know I had a Cruise before. It was modified. It wasn't the best. It gave me a lot of problems, but after dealing with those problems and coming from like basically no money growing up, it's basically easier for me to save money by doing it myself. So that's what half my experience with riding has been, is just doing everything myself. And if I can't, I'll be honest, I'm not that person who's like I know it all, because I don't. Okay, to start off, my first bike was a 1995 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-6R. Now, before you guys say anything, yes, I know I was one of those people who was like, you know, started on a 600 first, but I don't condone that whatsoever. Basically, I didn't start riding with that bike. The guy back in Wisconsin, he's a really good friend of mine. He owns a tattoo shop, actually 3 now. When I first met him, he only had 1. Tattoo addiction, I don't know, some of the people back at home will definitely know of that place. But yeah, he taught me how to ride. I started off on like a automatic scooter just to get the basics of being on 2 wheels, just because I haven't been on dirt bikes or anything in my life, so I wanted to start somewhat slow. And then after that, I think I moved on to his 250 that he had. Mind you, this guy, he had like 13 or 14 different bikes, and I'm not exaggerating, like he had literally 13 bikes. He let me ride a majority of them, besides, you know, the fucking 1000s and 1200s. But I rode that for about 3 days. It was like starting to be fall time actually, but I rode that. His name is Tito. He taught me how to ride. Shout out to him. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be on 2 wheels. Like, and that's just being honest with myself and with him. But basically, okay, so I rode the 250 for about 3 days, and then I moved up to his 500 that he had. And when I went from the scooter to the 250, it was automatic to manual. So the 250, I spent 3 days learning how to shift, learning how to get into gear. It was rough. Like, my first ride, I went on a group ride. It was probably not the best or smartest choice, but we went on a ride downtown. It was probably like a 20 to 25 minute ride, and towards the end, mind you, I was doing good this whole time, and then towards the end, yeah, I started stalling, but I stalled to the point where they ended up leaving at the red light. They didn't stay there. And so I had to fucking figure it out. Like, legitimately, I had to find out where I'm going, because at the time I didn't know where I was riding at, so I needed a phone for GPS, and I didn't have that, so I was fucked. But I turned into the Lion Energy Center, bro, and he like texted me. He was like, "You're good, like take your time, meet me at the shop." My heart sank. I was so fucking nervous, bro. But then after that, like, I eventually got it. I got out of first. I rolled it. I was trying to get used to the clutch, so I put it in gear, and I would just go like this. Just figure out where that biting point is, making sure I'm not releasing too slowly, because if you release too slow, then you'll stall. And that's what I was doing. But finally, mentally, I was like, fuck, you know, I was so nervous. It was getting to be dark time, so I literally just nutted up and got the bike to the shop. But after that, I rode for another week on his 500 that he had, and I was doing good. I could shift and whatnot, I basically got comfortable with the bike with shifting gears, going to higher speeds. I finally got on to the interstate. Speed limit was only like 55. I think I was going like 50. You know, still just trying to get a feel for being on two wheels, because like I said, it was brand new at the time. And then after that, he had a bike that he recently bought beginning of summer, and he ended up fixing it up. Only had 16,000 miles when I bought it. Like I said, it was a 95 ZX6R, but he actually let me ride that around. And funny thing is I started all this shit when I was broke, bro. Like, the whole reason why I got into bikes was because I was broke. I was trying to save money and whatnot, and I feel like that was probably the best way I could do it for myself personally. So that's what I did, because you know, you go on a bike, you could find bikes on Marketplace for fucking $3 to $5 grand. It's not expensive. He taught me how to ride, and I rode that 600 for, I think it was 3 days. And then after that, he said, you know, because I told him, I was like, I want it, I want to buy it, I want to ride without having to meet up at the shop and whatnot. So I asked him, I was like, you know, what can you do for me? And he was willing to let me pay half of the price. So I believe I paid like $1,400 my first time, and then I was on payment plans with him, and I stuck to it. I kept my word, and I kept paying him when I needed to. And then eventually, when I gave him the rest payment, he gave me the title, and I was on my own ever since. Man, owning that bike was crazy. The feelings I felt with that bike, it was honestly insane. That bike only left me stranded once. The clutch cable snapped. Man, thank God I had my buddy TJ with me, because that shit would have been hectic as fuck if I was by myself. But he basically helped me with a lot of the things that I know now. Like, you know, he helped me keep my cool, and, you know, made me realize, oh, it's not the end of the world. Like, you know, I'll be able to get it fixed and whatnot. And that's what happened. You know, we went to the tow yard, found a cable for like $30 off of a 97, I think they said. I don't remember. I think it was a 97 or 96, and it ended up fitting. There's a cop up here. I just don't know where he went. Yeah, so I rode that bike for about a year, maybe even more. I hate people. So I rode that bike for, yeah, it was like around a year. I ended up, my girlfriend ended up losing my only key to that bike. And at the time I still had the cruise, so it wasn't a big deal. But here's where things get interesting. When I took my girlfriend on her very first ride with me in my car, it blew up. My timing chain, it blew up on me. After that took a shit on me, then I was like, okay, well, fuck, I gotta literally find, you know, a way to get to work and do everything else. And that's what I did for a while. Yeah, I rode the Ninja for like a year, and then my buddy had a 2008 Gixxer. He ended up selling it to a guy. I told the guy, I was like, you know, because I really liked the bike. Like, it was a beautiful bike. It was all purple. He changed it, and even when he changed it, it still looked good. It gave off Gixxer bro vibes. But basically, I told the guy, I was like, you know, I want to buy it. So if you're ever looking to sell it, just let me know. And sure as shit, he hit me up. It was like, you know, I'm looking to sell. And I wanted to ask you first, because, you know, you said you wanted to buy it. And so I was like, you know, I got an offer for you, because at the time he wanted to sell it to make some money, but he didn't want to stop riding because he needed the money. But if it came down to it, he was gonna stop. So I told him, I was like, I'll throw you a deal. I'll give you $2 grand and my bike, which was the 95 Ninja, and we'll call it good. And guess what the motherfucker did? He did it. When I tell you guys, that was the biggest come up of my life. Like, even the people around me were like, bro, that's pretty insane. Like, you went from that bike to this bike? That's crazy. So I had the 2008 Gixxer. That bitch was nasty. But anyway, he had the Gixxer, and I bought it from him. He took the trade, everything was good, you know, there was nothing wrong with the Ninja. I honestly would have kept that Ninja if I could, but I wanted a different bike. I wanted fuel injected. I knew I was, you know, missing out on the new technology slash power. And that bike, don't get me wrong, it was pretty raw, but it still lacked that, I guess, speed that I was really chasing. And so that's kind of what we're going to get into with my name too, is Speed 636. Now, if I ever sell this bike, I will get another 636. These bikes by far are my favorite. I like everything about them. Like, there is nothing that I would change. But anyway, Speed 636. You know, I like speeding. I can't escape it. I have a beautiful girlfriend who supports and loves me to death. Like, I'm so thankful for that. But I know at the end of the day, she worries about me every time I go out anywhere, because this is my means of transportation. This is how I get around. And even when I was living in Wisconsin, when it was cold, raining, I'd be riding, bro. Like, only time I wouldn't ride was when there was snow. But this year I told myself, you know, I don't want to see snow. I want to continue riding. I don't want to have to sell the bike or find another car, because it's just not for me right now. This Subi wants to play. I'm so fucking funny, bro. But going back to my story, the 2008 Gixxer, man, oh man, it was a 600. It was tuned, full exhaust intake, lowered, I think, I want to say like a ½ inch. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was noticeable. Yeah, where do I even begin with that bike? Honestly. Well, okay, so I bought it for $2 grand plus my bike trade, and I rode that motherfucker for a long time. I'm trying to think. I got it in the beginning of summer. I rode it up until October 20th of last year, and it actually ended up crashing. Me and my friends were all on a group ride. At the time, I didn't know what a pin lock was, so I had a tinted visor. Like, I was a squid. I guess you could say I was just a squid. At the time, I think I had this jacket, I didn't have these boots, but I know I had this backpack on me, but I ended up crashing. It was a low speed crash, probably about like 35, 40. Thankfully the grass did a lot of saving for my bike. My homie on the other end, Ronnie, his shit, it got totaled. But basically he crashed in front of me, and I got fixated and was watching him, and I crashed as well. We both didn't realize the fucking road went like this, so instead we went straight, and obviously we fucking crashed, which was horrible. When I crashed, it hurt me. It really did, just because that bike was so fucking nice to me. That was probably the nicest thing I ever owned. I ended up crashing it because of a dumb mistake, you know. That's why I always preach to people, ride your own ride. If you're not gonna ride your own ride, then don't fucking ride with me, because I could care less. No competition, no smoke show, like, what the fuck. Our lives matter out here, and we only get one chance at this shit. Basically, I crashed, okay? That shit set me back months. I mean, I wasn't able to work because I had a concussion. Yeah, so at the time, I just became a fucking manager, bro, at the Portillo's that I work at, which I don't give a fuck. You guys come see me at work, go ahead. Doesn't bother me. I was required to work 10 hours by my shift, like, because I was salary, so no matter what I do, I get paid the same. But I straight up looked at that dude. It took me a minute to process. That was so funny. I could only work 4 hours. Doctor was like, nope, you can only work 4 hours, because I'm someone who is just go, go, go. And he was like, you can't be go, go, go. So I was like, well, fuck me. That basically takes away everything that I fucking do in this life. But that stopped me from riding. I was only working 4 hours, and I wasn't hanging out with friends at the time. It was really fucking terrible, honestly. It was one of my most depressing stages of my life. But then I got cleared by the doctor to work full time. I worked my ass off. I didn't go out. I didn't spend any money. I saved all my money, and then I went crazy. At the start of like spring, I was like getting irritated because there was nice days and people were going out to ride, and I couldn't fucking ride. So I was like, what the fuck? And I wasn't gonna sit there and be miserable watching other people do what I want to do. So I got my ass up, started working like I said. I think I spent, how much did I spend? I think it was roughly like 5K. Oh, it was between 5 to like 7,000 rebuilding this fucking Gixxer. And when I tell you, I went through fucking every part and nut and bolt on that fucking bike besides the actual motor. Just thankfully my motor wasn't harmed at all. The bike literally started right up after sitting for like 5-6 months. It's crazy to me. I rebuilt the bike in my homie's garage. Shout out to Trippy. Shout out Trippy for letting me use his garage, because that's where I got the fucking Gixxer done. But it doesn't stop there. I rebuilt the Gixxer, right? Fairings, stator, everything, right? Everything was going smooth. I rode the bike for about, I think it was like a week. And after that, problems after fucking problems. Man, when I tell you that shit was hell, I hated that shit. Because genuinely there would be times where the bike wouldn't start, the bike was misfiring, like literally I ran into every problem possible. Like stator issues, rectifier issues, fuel pump issues, spark plugs, coil packs, like I mean literally everything left and right. And it killed me. But then as I was, you know, fixing the bike, I was really upset because you know, I worked so hard for so long, saved money up for Suzuki. But I saved up money for so fucking long, bro, and it just felt like I was just getting defeated left and right. So I bought a Grom, but before I fixed the Gixxer, I ended up buying this said Grom. It was a 2015. I picked it up for $2,900. Yeah, $2,900. It was stock too, which was crazy. I think it had some like little exhaust, Amazon exhaust. But that bike, when I tell you, reliable. Like obviously it's a fucking Grom, but man, like there was moments where I was seriously relying on that bike just to get me to anywhere where I needed to go, and it did it just fine. Just fine. So I rode the Honda for, I think it was like 3, almost 4 months, and it wasn't an issue at the time because I only worked like 8 minutes from my house. Like, you know, it wasn't bad. Well, then I fucking transferred with my job. 30, it was like technically 27 minutes away from my original home store where I was closest to living wise and everything. And I had to transfer because the restaurant, it wasn't doing good. I'm not saying I'm a fucking superhero, and because I'm only a restaurant manager. There's still 2 more positions above me that have a lot more effect and symbolism. On my 15 Grom, not started, but I rode that for a while. Got the Gixxer fixed. And then after that, I was really wanting a new bike. So what the fuck is your issue?
What's happening, y'all? Alright. Back to what I was saying. I made the decision once I fixed the jigsaw. I was like, I could either keep it and then run into more issues further down the line, possibly valve jobs, fork seals, I don't know, anything. So I took the risk. I put this bitch on Marketplace, and I can probably say that was the best decision I've ever made. I got so many, and I mean so many trade offers. But anyway, I put the jigsaw up for trade. This chick hit me up. She asked me how much I wanted for it, and I wasn't selling for money. I was trying to get a trade for this bike. Not this one in particular, but anywhere from a 2014 to a 2016 Ninja 636. Just because personally, it's one of my favorites. Like, this by far, this bike has been the best experience for me whatsoever since owning bikes. You know, I really want to make it happen, not on some like social media money or something. Like, I want to work for it, but I would love to own this bike and the 30th anniversary ZX-10R. The Ninja it really set a good standard for bikes for me. I sold the Gixxer, and then so I drove an hour and a half away, and then I had to drive 4.5 hours to pick up this. I was very sketchy at first, but then like it just kept calling my attention. Like, I asked the guy if he was firm on the price. He said no, and he seemed like he was pretty honest with me, you know. And it's pretty hard to find that on Marketplace. Not everyone is going to be honest with you, like, honestly. But this bike has, I think, it has 21.9, almost 22. Shit. But see, all it takes is to be nice people. That's all it takes. I could have been a jackass and made him reverse and whatnot, but no, fuck that. Anyway, let's go. I thought Buddy was coming from me. I ain't gonna cap. I drove 4.5 hours to pick this up, thanks to my wife. She drove with me. She drove me there, and I rode the bike back. In total, though, take a guess how long it took me to actually get the bike home. Alright, guess it's over. It took me 12 hours. But in the end, though, it was honestly worth it. This bike, at the time, it had 18,000 miles on the body, or on the frame itself, and then the actual motor itself, he said that the last time he was able to get any information, he said he wants to say it was under 5,000 miles. Like, this motor came out of a wrecked 636 that had little to no mileage on it. Motor's fine and everything. Like, it's the case covers and everything. It even has scratches, but the case cover, like, that's literally the only problem wrong with it. When I look at the bike in person, even though, yes, I drove 4 hours, a part of me was expected to see, like, this motor looking like shit. I mean, like, oil everywhere, coolant, like, you know, I didn't think it was gonna be clean. But when I tell you this motor and this bike looked like something that came off of a 2024 showroom floor, like, that's how crazy it was. My girl saw this. She was like, babe, like, this is so clean. Like, this is a lot cleaner than all the pictures you showed me. And I was like, so what do you think? Do you think I should do it? Do you think, you know, do I take the risk? And I did, clearly. I just feel like life is about taking risks. It's kind of like this whole thing where I moved out here. I'd never been here. I never visited the state, never knew what the weather was like or anything, and here I am. I took the risk. I drove the bike back home. It rode fine. There was no issues with it. One day I had like a startup issue, but then after that it's been like, I don't know. It does its own thing, you know? But I rode this
stock form. It was completely stock. All I had was a SE Project exhaust. And my eyes, I was like, well, if this motor is really new, then why not take that use that as an advantage? And that's what I did. So I right away got a new air filter. I got a tune for it. And yeah, like getting the tune for it has been one of the best decisions I ever made. I noticed the riding difference that this bike rode when it was stock versus tuned is completely different. Like even just rolling off the throttle, like it would be so jerky and kind of like instant, whereas everything is now just so smooth and so like crisp. And I'm not just saying that like because of the tuner or whatnot. Like no, like this bike is crazy. I still have yet to top this bike out. It honestly still scares me. And that's the thing, is when a bike no longer scares me, I think that's when it's time to sell it. And that's where I was getting at with the Gixxer, is that bike didn't scare me, and that bike was pretty fast. Like it wasn't slow. I was hanging around the 1000s and 750s just fine. Like I didn't notice the crazy power difference. It was crazy. Like it was there. It wasn't really instant, but you could tell. But riding this bike has just been a crazy experience, to say the least. Like it scares me still. Even in the corners, it just feels so responsive, and so just the power is there. Like I don't know. I don't get the whole facade about owning 1000 cc's. Maybe I'll understand it when I actually ride one or have one, but it's never been like, oh man, I need this bike right now, you know? Whereas this fucking Ninja or my Gixxer that I used to have, I was like, I need that bitch right now. But yeah, honestly, I can't complain. The people out here, they don't know how to drive, clearly. I've already had like 2 close calls on the way here, which is great. Here I am. I never thought I'd be making YouTube videos, or at least it seemed like a dream, and now I'm actually going for it. I don't know, it just feels all so crazy. I don't care if I have 1 view or even no views on my YouTube. Like, it's not gonna bother me. It changed who I am as a person, and that's the biggest thing that people get when they, especially when they become like social media content creators. It's like they're not even them true selves. I only know a select few, but everyone else puts on a show, puts on a, you know, an act for the views. Whether it's rage bait, you know, clickbait, it doesn't matter. Like, you do something in a way for you to get noticed and recognized by a lot more people. I want to hit track days, but the hardest thing is going to be finding a track that allows filming, because I don't know, I'm new to all of it, but I want to show my experience starting from, like, you know, the very beginner class there is, and just showing my progression just from only street riding, because that's the thing, is all the riding I've been doing has just been street. So it'd be nice. Hopefully you guys would like some of that content, because I definitely want to push that out for you guys. I'm gonna be trying to get a car, not any car, my dream car to be exact. Damn, brother. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get my dream car. Any guesses in the comments what it's gonna be? I can tell you one thing: V8. I don't know, I hope you guys enjoy these. I feel like it's a good way for me to just talk and rant, because I have no friends out here, no social life, nothing, so it's pretty rough, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say. I mean, I'm sure there would be more to talk about, more people to show, and more events to show, but for now, guys, it's gonna be pretty boring, honestly, just getting to know me without getting to know me too much. I think I'm chilling for now, but we are back at home, guys. On that note, if you guys tuned in, listened for the little talking that I did, or a lot of talking, appreciate it. Leave a like,
follow and subscribe.